Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to our Battletech Advanced 3062 Irby Derby campaign. We've made some minor tech upgrades, and just to show it off quickly, the Marauder 3R has replaced its PPCs with double binary lasers, and its medium lasers with double extra range medium lasers. Our Dervish has now incorporated an Artemis 4 fire support system, and fire control system, and Artemis 4 ammunition should boost its missile accuracy quite well. And our Centurion, which was damaged last time and actually lost its LBX AC-10 completely, has had it replaced. It turns out I did have not just one, but two of those in storage on standby. So we're dropping in today on a 3-skull mission, and hopefully we won't really be going any farther back below that unless we take an absolute beating here sometime soon. There is on this planet available I think it's a 4.5 skull attack and defend mission, which would just be, suicide for us at this point. I mean, I love attack and defend missions. They're probably the most difficult missions you can have outside of escort missions that roll high on difficulty in terms of sheer number of enemy mechs that you'll be fighting. However, at that skull rating, dropping the number of mechs that we're dropping at the tonnage that we have available would just be, we'd get wiped out by, the second or third reinforcing lance, let alone the fourth or fifth. And we really probably wouldn't be able to achieve our objectives of taking out their base anyway. So even evacing early would be very difficult, because the way those missions work, for those of you who are not familiar, if there are any who are not familiar, enemy contact, is basically when you start on the deployment, you start with 2 enemy lances on the field, 1 attacking you, 1 defending them. Sometimes that 2 is 3, because you'll have 1 attacking you, 1 defending their base, and a support lance, right? Okay, so there's an enemy leopard on radar. We're fighting generic mercenaries. I wonder if this will be allied or if it will be a different faction. Of course, it's better for us if it is a different faction. That means that the mercenaries that we're fighting against will get into a fight with whatever other faction it may be, and that will distract them and allow us to really capitalize on their bad positioning, on the fact that we're not taking as much damage as we usually would, everything like that. So we're reserving down now, just because the enemy is as well, and I want them... Oh, that looks like a vehicle. I'm so disappointed. 3 skull missions with lots of vehicles instead of anything else is disappointing. So they have a mine layer, but our urban mech lamb does not walk. So we shouldn't take any damage, and in fact we don't. We can instead continue to scout. And that looks like an Orion. Yes, there's an Orion, there's 2 vehicles back here. I mean, may as well open up the streaks. God, okay. Neither one of the streaks actually fired, so instead we get nothing. But that's okay, that's fine. It was a long shot anyway, literally, and wouldn't have been catastrophic damage for the Orion anyway. A little bit of lag here. I have had this going for a little while now, doing some of these mission recordings, so my apologies for that. Let's get the Centurion moving up, and I need to remember to keep more left side facing with them this time around, as it is a right-biased mech for its armament. And our Marauder needs to go faster. I've been thinking about different ways of doing this. What I've concluded is that at present, because I did replace our Hermes 2 with the Centurion instead of replacing the Clantech Urban Mech with the Centurion, I don't have good enough mechs to replace the Clantech Urban Mech. I don't have good enough chassis to do that. The Hermes 2, I think, was actually a weaker chassis for the equipment I had available. Blake's markings. Very nice. Interesting. They should fight with the generic mercenaries, so this is to our benefit, potentially. But once we do have that mech replaced, we can take off the XL engine there, put it onto the Marauder, and then I can put in a supercharger. I'll have some additional weight that we can exploit to make the mech able to keep up a little bit better. Maybe even a larger engine, although I'm not entirely sure I want to do that. And I could get a regular XL engine instead of the Clan one. It's just that I don't know. I would prefer to have a Clan XL engine on the Marauder. It does tend to draw a fair bit of fire, and should it get focused down by unexpected reinforcements, that could end really poorly. Especially, I mean, that's an 80 tonner here. I took this for money because we were running low on C-bills from having to do some work in the mech bay. But I kind of regret that. If that's a Victor or a Zeus, I will be very sad because I've always wanted a Victor or a Zeus. I delayed getting one the last campaign just through salvage or purchase until after it would have been helpful. And this is moving at a snail's pace. Okay, so is that a lamb? That looks like a lamb. It looks like the same lights I have on my lamb. It's kind of funny that they show up without the mech in play. That's really what took so long for processing there. This is just a monster of a turn. Okay. There it is, moving on 7. If this takes too long, I'll cut some of the weight out. So I'm sure it's not exactly what people are here for, if anyone's actually here for this. I can hope, right? You know, maybe one day somebody will go back through and say, hey, I want to see what this early campaign was. And they'll just hear me gripe about, I don't know what actually cares, something nihilism. Anyway, I should probably cut that out too, but I won't. Should, won't, oh well. Okay, so let's see. The issue that we're going to have is it's going to take me a long time to bring most of my weapons to bear. Once we get in place, assuming that these guys will be fighting each other for a while, hopefully it'll be a relatively concise fight. That almost makes it worse. So if you are watching this right now, I do advise you may get more entertainment value out of skipping closer to the end. We do manage to get our first major contact here. Rear shot LRM carrier, but only one LRM rack still intact. Sucks for him. We're going to take advantage of it, and we are now finally again on an Arctic biome, which means that we'll be able to use far more of our guns far more often without having heat problems. The other thing I didn't mention, oof, is that a kick going in there? Wow. Okay, fair enough. The other thing I didn't mention for a tech upgrade is that we did put a double heatsink kit that I purchased off of the Free Worlds League onto the Marauder. It's part of how the Marauder is able to sink all of the heat from its binary lasers. It also does help with the weight problem as well, because binary lasers are heavier than PPCs. Each one weighs 9 tons. I should have done slug there. Might have killed it. Oh, well, we did kill it. Fair enough. Because of that double heatsink kit, we are able to fire both of those binary lasers without becoming a piece of literal toast. Okay. Light fire going in at the... Well, no, that was kind of heavier fire, but going in at the Irby Lamb, all of it missing, which, hey, that works for me. And let's get the Dervish moving up. I am really curious to see how much better... Well, if the Artemis 4 makes a difference, and if so, by how much. I mean, I know what the numbers are in terms of strict improvement to accuracy, but I mean, there's a numbers game, and then there's the feel of it as well, right? So, when I'm looking at the battlefield in general, do I think that one of my mechs will be able to fill a certain role? Do I think I can count on it for reliable damage? Things like that. So all of that, yes, it's a quantitative analysis, but eventually some of it also sort of happens on a gut level as well, based off of how well or poorly any given mech performs. So we're going to take the Irby Lamb, and we're going to go be a bunch of annoying people over here. And this is what I wanted to see. So that's another heavy LRM carrier. Does have 3 intact LRM racks, and this is an SRM carrier, and the SRM carrier needs to die. As bad as the LRM carriers are, if one of these SRM carriers opens up on you, it's just... it's not good. Unfortunately, I'm not able to pound all the way through it, which means I will need to now retreat before he's able to get his guns on me. So, hey, this is what the Irby Lamb was built for. We're going to pop in, deal some damage, pop back out, and we'll deal with that guy on the next turn. I am going to sensor lock the LRM vehicle, just because I don't want that thing to land all of its guns on anything of mine, including the Irby Lamb should something get line of sight on it on their turn. So now we do have these guys fighting each other again. It's possible that the visual glitch with their lambs when they have one is resolved, or it could be dead, and actually we do take a volley from the SRM carrier onto the Urban Mech Lamb, thankfully being able to dodge most of it with our 8 evasion pips, and yeah, that thing's dead next turn. I'm going to kill it for that. No forgiveness from me in that regard. Let's see. Kind of hard to tell what's going on at the moment. The nature of these sort of things when you have two people fighting each other outside of visual range. Somebody's popping some shots on that 80-tonner. Okay. Actually, the Mercenary Support Lance has already lost one. Oh, right, that was the vehicle that I killed. But that's, that Assault Mech over there is not having a good day. It's drawing way too much fire. Doesn't seem to be getting adequate support from those vehicles up on the ridge, even though, I mean, that's not a bad deployment placement. That's actually pretty good. So that could be far worse than it is. You guys are going to hear my opinion about a lot of this stuff recently, because, well, as this goes, because if we're just watching them sort of hash it out with each other, there's not that much else I can do. I don't know, I enjoy this a little bit because it becomes almost cinematic for me, right? I mean, the only thing that would make it better, clearly, is if I could see what mechs are going on over there, but yeah, I mean, this is sort of a, I wonder what they have. I can sort of start to narrow things down based off of the weapon systems that I see going live to form some sort of expectation for what we'll be fighting. By the way, I do have a Clan LRM-20 rack, and Clan missile racks, at least the non-streak ones, are half weight, but shorter range and additional heat build than inner sphere ones. However, a lot of the problem, especially in the early game, with strengthening your mech builds is tonnage. So I might be able to fit that on one of my mechs here real soon. That could be a lot of fun. Bringing the Clan LRM-20 to bear. Looks like they're going after the heavy LRM carrier a little bit, but not too much successful firepower there. They might live to regret that. Let's see. And that structure exposed, mech down.
All primary targets
wow. Okay. I mean, we can get extra money if we stay around and fight these guys, but we're in a good spot for evac. It was 2-point-something million C-bills base, and this is kind of goofy. So I'm thinking we evac. I think they did our job for us, and the cold hard cash mercenary part of me just goes, well, when someone else does your job, then you don't have to do anything, just don't do anything and collect the paycheck. So that's what we're gonna do here. It's a little goofy, but it does solve the problem of those long loading times on enemy turns, right? Because, I mean, what does it matter? We're gonna lift off. Oh, this is just hilarious. I'm gonna have to come up with a good title for this video too, just like accidental paycheck, something like that. Well, I'd probably do better than that by the time we get into it. Let's see. Oh, there's the LRM carrier. Yeah, I see no reason to be here. It's dangerous. There's a heavy LRM carrier, there's an SRM carrier. Can the Irby Lamb make it all the way back? No. Okay, so it's going to take one more go around before we can lift off. But okay, I mean, I'm cool with that. We're just going to brace all of our guys. We've lost even sensor range on them now. Okay. Alright, that looks like a heavy LRM carrier. Shooting at something, who knows where. I guess I don't care that much about it either. Let's go ahead and brace the Centurion. And we'll brace the Dervish. I'm curious, we'll be able to see the mech parts potentially for whatever that assault mech was, though. That'll be fun at least. Not that we have a chance of getting them, because I, again, took this for the money. Easiest paycheck I've had in a while, but unfortunately I've already titled an episode Easy Paycheck. So that's off the table at least. Maybe that was the Orion? That could be the Orion. That looks like something Blakist, those heavy laser emphasis. Okay, not bad, not bad. PPC shot. From something. Oh, this is so goofy. I wonder who would win if we just sat here long enough. I mean, probably the Blakists. We have taken out one of the mercenary vehicles, and the Blakists tend to drop in lances of 6, just like Comstar. They are, a branch off of Comstar. So they'll probably have the mercenaries outnumbered, maybe even outgunned. But not in tonnage. I mean, the Orion's going to be heavier than anything the Blakists are fielding, but that didn't seem to matter for whatever that 80-tonner was anyway, so I'm not sure it'll help them that much. Besides, lots of Orion variants tend to run XL engines, and it allows for heavier arms, that's for sure. I mean, the Orion is a very formidable mech, but it does also tend to make them very fragile when not properly supported. Okay, more missiles going in. And hopefully that's the end of it. Looks like they all reserved down. Okay, come on. Process this so I can get my paycheck, please. Only I wish it was a real world paycheck, but beggars can't be choosers and all that. Okay. Oh, that's the LRM carrier. Oh, I've said that a couple times now. I guess they're just loading up on LRMs. Something injured there. Oh, hey, yeah, like I said. So, the Blakist forces, they are fielding 6, but one of them did die, so, I mean, fair enough. Let's get all 5 of our units on the evac. Do I have to wait until... Okay, no, there it is. Well, hey, thanks for hanging around for a bit of a weird episode, but thanks for hanging around, and we'll see you all again real soon.